Childhood obesity is no longer a problem confined to a few affluent nations. It has become a global epidemic, affecting millions of children in both developed and developing countries. One of the most concerning drivers behind this trend is the dramatic increase in early exposure to ultra-processed foods, UPFs. These are industrial formulations of refined starches, added sugars, fats, emulsifiers, flavorings, and preservatives designed to be convenient, hyperpalatable, and profitable. As these foods dominate modern diets, especially among children, they are reshaping how the body develops, how hunger is regulated, and how fat is stored. And the consequences can last a lifetime. During childhood, the body is still building its long-term metabolic systems. Hormones involved in appetite regulation, fat storage, and insulin sensitivity are being fine-tuned in response to the diet and environment. This developmental window is incredibly sensitive. When a child's early nutrition is dominated by UPFs, low in fiber, high in added sugars and unhealthy fats, and nearly devoid of critical nutrients, these systems are thrown out of balance. The result is a higher likelihood of weight gain, early insulin resistance, and altered gut microbiota, all of which can set the stage for chronic metabolic diseases in adulthood. The appeal of processed foods to children is no accident. They are engineered for taste and ease, soft textures, bright colors, and intense flavors that require little chewing or effort. These characteristics are highly reinforcing to the developing brain. Regular exposure wires reward pathways to associate food not with nourishment, but with stimulation and comfort. Over time, this builds patterns of overeating, snacking in the absence of hunger, and resistance to healthier, less intensely flavored options. A child's palate becomes biased toward the artificial, making it more difficult to introduce whole foods as they grow older. Moreover, UPFs have a particularly strong influence on satiety mechanisms in children. Unlike adults, children have less experience and cognitive control to regulate their eating behavior. UPFs undermine their natural hunger and fullness signals by being energy-dense, but nutritionally empty. Foods that digest quickly and spike blood sugar leave children hungrier shortly after meals, encouraging a pattern of grazing and caloric excess that adds up quickly over time. These foods also lack the chewing and volume cues that come with whole fruits, vegetables, and grains, signals that are important for reinforcing when to stop eating. The global spread of UPFs is accelerating, particularly in urbanizing regions. As traditional diets give way to Western-style eating habits, children are increasingly exposed to fast food, packaged snacks, sugary cereals, sweetened beverages, and ready-to-eat meals from a young age. In many lower-income communities, these products are not only more heavily marketed, but also more affordable and accessible than fresh, whole foods. Schools, convenience stores, and even daycare centers often feature vending machines and menus dominated by processed choices. The idea that children will burn it off is increasingly false in the context of sedentary lifestyles, screen-based entertainment, and reduced opportunities for physical activity. Perhaps even more troubling is how UPFs shape not just physical outcomes, but psychological and emotional ones. High sugar, high-fat processed foods are often used as emotional rewards or coping mechanisms, birthday treats, behavior incentives, or comfort after a bad day. This emotional connection to food, forged early and reinforced often, is difficult to break. It contributes to emotional eating, poor self-regulation, and long-term difficulty maintaining a healthy relationship with food. Studies consistently show that childhood obesity increases the risk of adult obesity, independent of adult behavior. Early fat gain alters the number and function of fat cells, sets inflammatory patterns in motion, and may even affect gene expression through epigenetic mechanisms. Children who are overweight are more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and even orthopedic issues while still young. Psychosocial consequences also emerge: low self-esteem, bullying, and mental health struggles that compound the physical health risks. And yet, this is not a hopeless scenario. The same window of plasticity that makes early exposure to UPFs so harmful also presents a tremendous opportunity for prevention. When children are given access to real, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, legumes, healthy fats, and lean proteins, their bodies respond quickly. Natural satiety signals return. Gut health improves. Energy levels stabilize. Food preferences can shift over time, especially when these changes are reinforced at home, in schools, and within broader cultural environments. Exposure, repetition, and modeling matter immensely. Addressing childhood obesity linked to processed diets will require coordinated effort, not just personal responsibility. It means regulating marketing directed at children, improving school lunch standards, subsidizing healthy foods, and educating families about nutrition in ways that are accessible and culturally relevant. It also means shifting societal norms to stop equating food with reward and recognizing that childhood nutrition is foundational, not optional, for future health. In the end, preventing early and frequent exposure to ultra-processed foods is not about restriction or fear. It's about protecting development, supporting long-term well-being, and giving children the biological and emotional tools to thrive. The earlier we intervene, the more powerful the long-term impact, not just on waistlines but on lives.